Ever bought a cheap single-serve coffee pod machine that promised calf-quality drinks, only to find the coffee tasting flat and the grinder choking after a week? That disappointment is the exact feeling many of us get when we try to save a few bucks on a budget espresso setup, only to end up with a device that needs constant tinkering or, worse, a replacement. The big question is whether an all-in-one automatic electric coffee maker with a built-in grinder can actually be that smarter purchase we keep hearing about. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I started looking at combo machines, the first thing I kept asking myself was, will this really replace a separate grinder and brewer, or am I just adding another piece of kitchen tech that will sit half-used on my countertop? The model we're talking about today is marketed as a commercial-style espresso and drip coffee system that also handles tea brewing. It's a fairly hefty unit, about the size of a small fridge, with a built-in bean hopper, a stainless steel burr grinder, and a boiler that can reach espresso temperatures in under a minute. The first impression is that it aims to be a set-and-forget solution for anyone who wants a CAF experience at home without juggling multiple appliances. The biggest practical strength of this machine is the seamless integration between grinding and brewing. Because the grinder sits directly above the brew head, the beans go from hopper to cup in seconds, minimizing exposure to air and preserving flavor. I've tested it with a medium roast Arabica that I normally grind on a separate conical burr grinder, and the grind consistency was impressively uniform. When I dialed the grind size to a finer setting for espresso, the extraction time settled around 28 seconds, which is right in the sweet spot for a balanced shot. For a drip brew, the machine automatically adjusts the grind coarser and runs a longer brew cycle, producing a clean, bright cup that rivals a mid-range pour-over. Another plus is the programmable timer. You can set it to start grinding and brewing as early as 30 minutes before you need your coffee. I set it for a 6 a.m. wake-up, and by the time I shuffled into the kitchen, the espresso was already waiting in the cup. The automatic milk frother attachment, which is optional but easy to plug in, also does a decent job at creating microfoam for cappuccinos, so you really do get a full espresso-based menu without buying a separate frother. Where the machine shows its hidden trade-offs is in the cleaning routine. The burrs are removable, which is good, but you still have to disassemble the grinder housing, run a brush through the chute, and wipe the brew group daily to prevent oil buildup. If you're the type who grinds a pound of beans a week, that's manageable. If you only make a cup or two on weekends, the extra maintenance can feel like a chore you didn't anticipate. The water reservoir, while generous at 2 liters, sits at the back and can be a little awkward to refill without moving the whole unit a few inches. Noise is another practical consideration. The grinder is powerful, and when you push it to a fine setting for espresso, it produces a noticeable whir that can echo in a small apartment. It's not deafening, but it's loud enough that you'll hear it if you're trying to have a quiet morning video call. For households where the kitchen doubles as a home office, you might want to schedule grinding a minute or two before you hop onto a call. The price point places this machine in the mid-high tier of home espresso gear. It's more expensive than a basic drip coffee maker, but cheaper than buying a separate high-end grinder and a semi-automatic espresso machine. The 4.4-star rating from over 2,000 reviewers suggests most owners are satisfied, especially those who appreciate the convenience of an all-in-one solution. The rating also hints that a minority of users have hit the same pain points I mentioned: cleaning and noise, so it's not a universal love affair. Who should buy this? If you're a coffee enthusiast who drinks multiple cups a day, enjoys experimenting with grind size and brew ratios, and doesn't mind spending a few extra minutes each week on maintenance, this machine could be a genuine time saver. It also makes sense for small offices or shared kitchens where space is at a premium. Instead of 3 separate appliances, you get a single unit that can serve espresso, drip, and tea for a handful of coworkers. The built-in grinder means you'll always have fresh coffee, and the programmable features let you line up drinks for early meetings without a barista on hand. Who should skip it? If you only brew coffee once or twice a week, the extra cleaning and the learning curve of dialing in espresso shots might outweigh the convenience. Likewise, if you live in a tiny studio where every inch counts, the footprint of this unit could dominate your counter space. For those who are comfortable with a manual pour-over or a simple French press, the added technology may feel unnecessary. And if